man has his. Today I want to be talking about the cost of love. Everybody say the cost of love. And I want you to say, love is not talk. Love is not talk. So say it, love is not talk. Now when I talk about talk, I'm talking about speaking. So love is not talk. Tell somebody love is not talk. And then the other thing is that love is not thought. Everybody say love is not thought. Okay? So love is not talk. And love is not thought. Oh, I love you, but it's in my heart. There is no love like that. And then I love you. And then the person says, how? Don't you listen to what I'm saying? Love is not in talking. And love is not in thinking. But love is in acting. Love is in doing. You perform it. You demonstrate it. You show it by paying for it. When we talk about the cost of love, let me better say, if you talk about the cost of something, you are talking about the thing you lose in order to obtain it. What you lose in order to obtain something is the price of the thing. So whether it is barter trade you are talking about, or trade by means of the use of legal tender, whatever it is, when you talk about purchasing something or the cost of something, you are talking about something you lose in order to get another thing. That is the cost. So, I love you. Then I want to ask, you want to ask me, what are you losing to love me? You say you love him. Okay. What are you losing in the process of loving the person? If you are loving somebody and you are not losing anything, you really don't love the person. And I know that as I talk about the cost of love, many of you will be thinking about many things. You'll be talking about, one of the things you'll be thinking about is money. So, but today I won't talk about money. If you love me, you give me money. No. Or if you love me, you lose money. No. That's not the one I'm talking about. Of course, that is one of it, but it's not what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at money today. Yesterday, we looked at Luke chapter 7, and I'm still on that text from verse 36 to Luke 7 from verse 36 to the verse number 50. And it's very tiresome reading that scripture, but I have no choice. And one of the Pharisees desired him that he would eat meat, he would eat with him. And he went into the Pharisee's house and sat down to meat. And behold, a woman in the city, which was a sinner, when she knew that Jesus sat at meat in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster box of ointment, and stood at his feet behind him weeping, and began to wash his feet with her tears, and did wipe them with the hairs of her head, and kissed his feet, and anointed them with ointment. And when the Pharisees which had bidden him saw it, he spake within himself, saying, this man, if he knew, if he was a prophet, would have known who and what manner of woman this is that toucheth him. In the night I'll be talking about what manner of woman this is. Okay? And that toucheth him, for she is a sinner. And Jesus answering said unto him, Simon, I have somewhat to say unto thee. And he said, Master, say on. And he said, there was a certain creditor which had two debtors. The one owed him 500 pence, and the other 50. And when they had nothing to pay, he frankly forgave them both. Tell me therefore, which of them will love him the most? And Simon answered and said, I suppose that he to whom he forgave most. And he said unto him, thou hast rightly judged. So we are talking about the fact that God forgave this woman most. And because she was forgiven most, she took an alabaster box of ointment and broke it and poured the contents on the feet of Jesus and anointed them and washed his feet with her hair, with her tears, and wiped them with her hair. The cost of loving Jesus for this woman was the oil she broke. oil and her act are three essential issues I want us to consider this afternoon. Three essential issues. That in that bottle, there were three prices in the bottle. The bottle represented three major things in the life of the woman. The first thing it represented was the woman's dream. Everybody say dream. Dream is D-R-E-A-M. The woman's dream in life was in the bottle. Yesterday, Pastor Cornelius told us that that bottle represented 1 year's wages in terms of its value. 1 year's wages. And somebody's life for 1 year is the dream of the person lived in a year. And it's obvious that this woman has been living that kind of life for so many years. So if the person was a carpenter and bought that oil with the money from carpentry, that oil represented the person's life as a carpenter, the person's dream. If the person was a pastor and got it, it represented his dream as a pastor. If the person was a lawyer and got that thing, it represented his dream as a lawyer. And this woman took that dream and broke the dream and poured the content at the feet of Jesus. What she's saying is that from now onwards, anything I dreamed over the years, I shatter all my dreams at your feet because I love you. I will come back to it. The second one is the dignity of the woman. Dignity. Because for you to carry that oil, go and stand at the back of the feet of the person, weep, go and pour the oil on his feet. What about if you are driven away? What about if you are rejected? Because everybody knows you to be a sinner in town. People are likely to make faces at you, make mouths at you, do all kinds of things to you. And yet here you are, you have to ignore the shame, ignore all the embarrassment, and go in there and do what you have to do. The dignity. And the third one is her doctrine. You see, there is a doctrine she will have to put aside. Now, one of the doctrines we have is the doctrine of the superiority of the male over the female. Men have constantly tried to let women look like they are inferior. In this particular woman's case, the sinner has been made to look inferior to the so-called righteous in quotes. And the woman had to destroy that doctrine and pay the price of defying the doctrine. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? For you, especially the ladies I'm talking to today, for you to walk in love, there are many doctrines you will have to destroy. You will have to break many doctrines. Can a woman appear in public and her hair is not covered? In a Jewish society, break into a place where a teacher of the law, and not just a teacher of the law, but the Messiah himself is sitting there, and you go with your hair and even have the audacity to use that hair on the feet of the man. You must be a revolutionary radical who is doing something which is flying in the face of the traditions and the religion and the doctrine of the time. But you must make an impression. And I'm here to say to you people, sometimes if you respect tradition too much and respect doctrine too much, you will never stage a revolution. Everything in our society has made the woman a receiver. And the woman a lot of times receives and is not giving credit for even what she carries. Let me land. Let me land. So sometimes I'm a little philosophical, but look at the process of childbearing. The man mostly is the one who tells his wife, shall we? And most of the time, 7 out of 10 cases, when there is sex in marriage, the man enjoyed, not the woman. The woman receives the sperm. She carries First 3 months, some of the women will throw up. They will get weak. They will get sick. Sometimes they can't walk. They have to hold them up. They throw up for 3 months. After that, when they are stable, the baby grows and the fetus is growing. And then they carry that baby for another 9 months. For another 6 months, making it 9 months. And then, at the risk of their life, they go into the labor ward and push out the baby. When the baby is born, the name of the man is put on the baby. That is cool. Everybody talks about the father of the baby, not the mother of the baby. And the DNA of the child is the DNA of the father. Even and the DNA, you can't blame any man because it's God who made it like that. So, literally, both God and society and man have conspired against the woman. Somebody said, you mean God is caught in a conspiracy? I don't know. But I think that God did something. And because he told the man, love your wife like your own body. God expected that though he made the man the head of the woman, the man, because of love, will temper that justice with mercy. But unfortunately, God just threw that precedence there. And man forgot that he has the right. And God has made him the head. But God didn't say this head should crush the woman he is sitting on. So everything happens, and then the doctrines, the traditions, the societal norms, everything just happens to put the woman down there. They have no right. No right. So I was speaking to a friend of mine who is a bishop. And I told him, I said, I'm going to speak to the women in our church. And I said, you know what? These women, I told him, I said, let's respect them, let's love them, let's appreciate them. And for anything we do, let's share with them. And let's not see them as people that God has made to parasite on our vision. But they are part and parcel of the vision and the calling. And I told him, I said, you know what? It will be very preposterous for you to think that God created man and after that created all the trees and the rivers and the things. And then after an afterthought, created woman. Woman was created before all these other things were created. Because the Bible said in the beginning, male and female made he them. Only that, and he called their name, or he called them Adam, because the woman was in the man. And so God formed the man out of the dust of the earth, and then removed a rib from the side of the man. And that rib was the woman that God just took out, and he didn't form the woman, but he removed the rib and made the woman. That means the woman existed before we saw her. And the only reason why she was taken out was that this is now a man, but he is a man with a womb. So let us call him a she. So you are an he, she. God gave you extras. You see, and when you go to buy a car, the cars that have the extras are more expensive than the cars that have no extras. And I tell you, woman, you have an extra. Your extra is called a womb. You have some extras. Now, so what you have to do now is that you have to dismantle that doctrine. And if I'm a man, or I'm a man and I want to love my wife, one of the prices I pay is to dismantle that biased doctrine which I have received for years and traditions have handed down to me. But here we are. The man is the man. When he talks, the woman doesn't talk. Look at all of you. Look at all of you. My wife, she dreamed this ministry. She dreamed everything. Together with her women, they are planning. They don't sleep. Then I get up and say, my ministry. The woman is not part of the ministry. It is my ministry. It's my church. Since when? And that is simply because you are the tall and towering guy with that thunderous voice. And once in a while, when you explode, boom! Everybody's like, oh, God has spoken. Wow. Somebody said, Pastor, why don't you call our husbands and rather tell them this? You see, you are talking to us. You are talking to us, but we really wish that when the men come to you in November, repeat this. But you see, sometimes somebody says something. Freedom is not given, it is taken. Sometimes it takes your knowledge for you to know what you deserve. And when you know what you deserve, you will not take arms and fight for it, but on your knees, because you now have revelation and you know what you are praying for, God will give it to you. Oh yeah, you don't need to go and fight your husband for these things. No, prayer on your knees, God will touch their heart. I watched something on CNN when a certain woman of God died in America. And I was watching Larry King on CNN, and the woman appeared and they showed her face just before she died. And they showed the achievements she and her ex-husband had done for God. Big buildings, big institutions, great ministry, into multi-millions of dollars. Great woman and great man of God. The woman used to be a beautiful woman. They used to call her like a doll, because she looked like a doll. They showed her in a heyday and showed her just before she died. And I was lying in my hotel room and I was watching that thing. And I told myself, I think it was around the 20th of July. I told myself, I said, Eastwood, life is not from the time you were born to the time you died. Life is from just before you die and after death. This building was not from the foundation until the day we finished it. This building is from the day we finished it until the day it collapses. How this building started may be important, but how it finished is most crucial. Ladies and gentlemen, the hours and the weeks and the months and the days just before you die, from then onwards and after you have died, those immortal days and those days of eternity are the real human being. As for between now and the time just before you died, you are just waiting for the real show to begin. Anything you can sacrifice, anything you can kill, any life you can live which is righteous and holy, thinking about humanity and people more than yourself, placing others before you, and stop fighting for all the things you are fighting for, money and house and fame and popularity and television and write books and do this and all the jumping and the things we are doing. One day they shall cease. This was somebody years ago. I looked at how big she was, a larger than life personality. And just before death, she looked so emaciated. I told myself, so one day I can lose all my looks and look like this woman. Just before departure. God, anything you can do to keep me humble, anything you can do to let me walk on the streets and see somebody who has never been to school and I will know we are the same. Anything you can do to me to stand here and see me as the same person, and I'm not better than him in any way. Anything you can do for me to see myself just as my wife, help me. Help me. I got in here this morning and I heard mommy speaking about the fact that death is a leveler. I said, woman, you are right there. That is the thing. Oh, whenever you are fighting and you open your mouth to speak, just remember that when that thing happens, you are all the same. This morning I was walking through the house and some of our children were standing in the kitchen. Those young girls and young children who live in our house. And I told them, I said, you know what? Sometimes it's good to go to a funeral, okay? And they looked at me and I said, when you go to the funeral, you learn more. All the talking we talk. All the talking, everything we do. So the doctrines, there are so many things you do. Sometimes, especially as a man, look at the woman you speak. As if she wasn't also born. I keep telling some men when they have trouble with their wife, I say, you know what? The woman too was born by somebody. You understand what I'm talking? So the doctrine, and you as a woman, you ought to get that doctrine right, because if you get that doctrine right, your image and impression of yourself will improve. And when your impression of yourself improves, you don't struggle with so many things. So if you know that, oh, this is a temporal thing, and you know that, well, then it is worth for me to endure, because one day all these things will be over. So I talked about the fact that the cost of your love is your dream, your dignity, which you lose, and then your doctrines. You will have to lose some of your doctrines. So as a man, your doctrine about a woman has to change. And as a woman, your doctrine about yourself must change. Because I tell you, if your doctrine about yourself doesn't change, and you are expecting people to change it and be considerate on you, they may never be. Okay? So, I told you I will go back to the dream. Everybody say the dream. Because I want to stay on the dream until I finish. When the woman came and poured that alabaster box of ointment on the feet of Jesus, it was her dream for 1 year. She dreamed about going to work. She dreamed about getting wages. She got the wages, and she dreamed about a certain particular perfume, and she went and purchased the perfume and kept it in a closet and was waiting for the day she will use it with a sport and look really on top of the world. Everybody say, what a dream. I want you to do this. What a dream. Oh, that dream was to make her a superwoman. She was supposed to be like a Batwoman, huh? Not Batman, Batwoman. That dream was to make her a Cinderella, Barbie girl. Wow, look at my dream. I worked, I earned some money, I bought me some perfume, which I really liked. And all of a sudden one day, she had to go to the Messiah's feet and break the whole of that dream. Oh, Nicholas Shobota. I'm about to tell you something that will help you. But to be the most difficult thing for you to do. Now, anytime you claim to love somebody, but you are still holding on to your personal dreams, you really don't love the person. Huh. By the time you say, I love you, you shouldn't have your personal dreams again. Because you see, if I enter marriage with my wife and I say, my dream, where is her dream? So when we come to Jesus, I break my dreams at the feet of my wife. My wife takes her dreams and breaks them at my feet. Both of us have no dreams again. And God gives us a joint dream for both of us. Now, somebody said, I don't understand. Okay. Now, let's say orange juice, the one you've been drinking. When the thing is orange juice, somebody dreamed about water. The person fetched the water and brought it. Another person had a dream about the orange juice concentrate and brought it. And they took the concentrate, added the water, diluted it, added preservatives, and formed the orange juice drink you have been buying from the streets. So, at the end of the day, the one who had the concentrate lost his concentrate. The one who had the water lost his water. And they produce a joint dream which becomes a blessing to humanity. So when we are coming into a marriage, I take my dream, I shatter it. You take your dream, you shatter it. When they mix together, then God forms a joint dream. And when we are going, we are not heading towards anybody's goal. We are heading towards the will of God. So here is Jesus praying, and he said, I love the Father and the Father loved me. So when he's praying, he said, Lord, not my will, but your will be done. But how can you say you love me, Cornelius, when we are working in a ministry and you have your own personal dream, your personal ambition? And how can we say, how can I say I love you when I see Fountain Gate Chapel as my dream and my vision, and you are only a parasite in the vision? So at a certain point, we cannot really love one another when we are walking about, and this one says this thing is mine, and that one says that thing is mine, and that one says that thing is mine, and that one says that thing is mine. We must come to the place where all of us have got a shattered dream. I shatter my dreams, you shatter your dreams, and then a brand new dream comes from heaven, and we all possess it. So this woman carries the oil to the feet of Jesus. And she said, Lord, this has been my dream for 1 year. Every day I worked. Every day I planned. Every day I took strategy. Every day I did this, I did this, I did this, I did that for 1 whole year. And then I got me some money and I went and bought this perfume. I was waiting for the day I will use it. I was waiting for maybe my wedding day, or I was waiting for the day when I have to go to a particular outing. But now, all those dreams are over. I shatter it. I crush it. I have checked a few things in the Bible. One of the things in the Bible, which is a great demonstration of love, is the life of Jonathan, where the Bible said Jonathan met David, and his spirit or his soul was knit with the soul of David, and he loved David like his own soul. When they met to ratify the covenant, Jonathan took his robe and gave it to David. He also took his inner garments and gave them to David. Then he took his sword and gave it to David. And he took his girdle and his bow and gave them to David. What the man was saying is that from today, David, I am not the heir to the throne of my father. I am not the prince anymore. Anything I used to be. This robe, this girdle, this sword, all of them represent my lofty dream of becoming the next king of Israel. He said, you know what, David? I'm giving all of it up. I'm giving all of it up. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? I believe that if Jonathan was still the heir to that throne, God would not have liked Saul to die, and Jonathan will also die, and the position of the throne will be vacant. But because Jonathan moved out of that place and gave it unto David and said, David, I don't mind if you have to become the king. I'm not the king anymore, though I am the biological son of the king. When David was now anointed by God and chosen by God to become the next king of Israel, it was very easy for Jonathan to pass on with his father. In other words, the day Jonathan gave all those things to David, he chose to exchange his life for the life of David. He said, David, one day if you have to die, I will die in my place. Take my sword. It means one day I will be defenseless and you will have a defense. Take my bow. Take my girdle. You will live, and if I have to die, that is okay. I don't have my personal vision. I don't have my personal dream. I don't have my personal ambition anymore because I love you. May God give us some kind of marriages when the man has no private agenda and the woman has no private agenda. And may God give us a church where when we come together, you don't have private agenda, I don't have private agenda. All of us are naked before God and we are not ashamed. Am I talking to somebody at all? But this kind of situation where we are living together, this one has his own agenda that is in his mind, this one has his own dream that is in his spirit, this one has got his own plans that is taken, and we are walking about and we are in a system like children who are doing kwani and boni. Jack, where are you? I am here. And yet he's hiding. Shatter my dreams. The greatest curse you can have in life is to be running a vision, either in a family or church or ministry, and you have people in the ministry or the family who have a plan B. Plan B. They are there, but in case it doesn't work, they know where they will go. That means those kind of people are in a thing, but they are not prepared to die for the thing. And sometimes when you need them most, that is the time they are not there. Huh? You are in a marriage with a wife and her old boyfriend is there waiting for her. So that when this one doesn't work, with one letter, she will change her position. All she needs to say is to say, Kwame, I'm still available. And says, why don't you fly over? And that is it. Your marriage is gone. You are in a marriage and your husband is there and he has some girlfriend who is still in some corner somewhere who will just say tap and the man is there. So he's married to you. You are lying on the same bed, but the man has a lover somewhere. He has a plan you don't even know about.
I believe you've been blessed by this message. For further information, please visit www.eastwoodanaba.com. God bless you richly.